Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in today. I'm so excited that we have a very distinguished guest on with us today. And we're here to talk about the future, the metaverse, the mind, and what everything else that you want, that you want to hear. So I want to just say hello, thanks for coming on, Mr. Demario, Greg Demario.
Thank you, Mark.
How's it going? So just briefly, let's just do a quick introduction, just a snapshot of you, who you are in the online space, where you've come from, and what brings you to the point where you are today.
Sure. I came from the womb,
Oh
but
yeah.
that's where it all started. Yep. I was seaman first class, the best swimmer in my class.
Oh yeah.
Now I got online in 2000 as far as marketing online business wise, but more heavily in 2007.
Okay.
With regards to mainly network marketing.
Uh-huh.
And then, back in '93, I got involved with another network marketing company, the larger one, largest one out there. I got involved with that one, and that was more of a evolution or transformation, if you will, in terms of who I was within a 2-year period. I was able to transfer or change who I was as a person, literally, from the inside out. So that came as a means of transformation, as opposed to economic change, is more a internal change. And then over the years, I always was involved with something business-wise, with some way, shape, or form. But again, more heavily in the 90s, 2007, 2008, I created an affiliate program with a partner of mine. We brought in 25,000 people in 4 months.
Wow.
It was called Zero to Riches. We had a lot of pretty decent marketers on that. I mean, tremendous marketers. And so we did that for a little bit, and then we faded out, and we decided to go our separate ways. We've come back here and there, but mainly, I'm sticking within the affiliate marketing space, creating traffic, also cryptocurrency, because I believe that to be the future. It will be, and is the future of the internet, as well as we touch on and discuss the metaverse.
That's so interesting. I love getting your insight, Greg. You've been in the industry for quite a long time, and I feel as though you are the person, if you know the path that the industry has taken, then you can basically see into the future to see the trends and where it's going. And that's why I love getting your insight. I don't want to skip over something that you said just now in your journey.
Sure.
And that was just about the 2 years that you became a different person. Right? Can you just explain that a little bit more?
Well,
about who you were and then who you became.
Well, prior to that, I was, I had no self-confidence, extremely shy, painfully shy. And I was basically a person who would pretty much isolate himself and just not go out, really. And that process of transformation involved, well, first off, it took me a year to sponsor my first person in that particular business.
A year.
A year, a total, yeah, 1 year.
Uh,
And I was going out and I was doing what I needed to do, but I was not the person that I needed to be
uh,
in order to do what I eventually did. So 1 year of doing it over and over and over again, which is how we did it back then, or how I did it, is I would go out, they did the mall thing, go out in the malls and talk to people. And then I would call them up as a business owner, letting them know that, I can conduct an interview, and I'd like to sit down with you and see if you're a good fit. So we would schedule an appointment. I would sit down with them, and then I would go through the process of interviewing them. Mm-hmm. And initially, over the course of that year, it was really a progression of becoming significantly better than what I was, because in the beginning it was a disaster. But then I got to the point where I had the attitude of somebody who actually was involved with something pretty substantial. I had the I don't know what you would call it. I had the I can't think of the name right now, but I had the demeanor, if you will, the posture that was required, especially with the type of people that I started bringing in. The first person I brought in after that year was a doctor. And then immediately after that, I started sponsoring a ton of people. I mean, a ton of people. Yeah, I mean, it was a doctor, an engineer, a bunch of engineers, all professionals. I mean, a few people that were, students, but the majority of my team consisted of professionals, because I created over time the mindset by hanging out with people with that mindset who were successful, to become the kind of person somebody who was, a professional, who was at a different level than me, at least that's what I thought, would actually see me at the same level as them, and they would get involved. So, I mean, we had the type of compensation plan with that company that we have with companies today. It would have been a tremendous success, but the compensation plan was pretty miserable. But
wow, you've just said so much there. That's so interesting. I'm looking at, you said, okay, for a full year you had no success. No. But you continued going out there. How did that feel, and what was it that happened because after you got your first client, then you started getting more and more clients? Can you say what it was? Because you also mentioned that you were doing the things, but you didn't get the success until you became another person. Yeah. So you can, is this saying that you can do things, but you won't see results until you become a different person? Because you can do things and still be the same person. So just expound on that a little bit. Hey, are you enjoying this video? Well, now's the time to smash that heart button and hit the subscribe. What are you waiting for? You'll be glad you did. Now back to the video.
Right. I mean, you're the same person. I'm still Greg. But being a different person means thinking a different way.
Okay.
Yeah. It's somebody who is not successful is the same person. But he's transformed himself, that person which he is, into something that will allow him to be successful. You could be yourself and be successful, but at the same time, there has to be some form of a change, a shift, there's always going to be some form of a change, one way or the other, within yourself. You can't, I mean, if you're doing the same things over and over and over again, getting the same results, that they call that insanity. So you need to change. You can't continue to do the same thing, get the same results, especially if those same results aren't getting you the results that you need. So I needed to change, and that was just my actions, my mannerisms, my posture, my belief in myself, the way I spoke. I wasn't meek. I wasn't shy. I basically went after it with the kind of attitude as if my life depended on it. Because at that point in time, I didn't see myself prior to as being somebody who could see success. I saw myself as being, somebody who would always be a failure based on my past. And that is hence the fuel that fired within my belly.
Your loins.
Yes. to go out there and get things done. It was everything that I needed. The past was my fuel to become what I was meant to be in the future. And that's what got me out there every single day, every day, because I would do things that others would not do. I mean, I got to the point where I had probably, I would say, a 95% success rate in terms of bringing people in. I would sit down with them and they would basically be there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got to the point one-on-one with somebody that they wanted to be a part of what I had.
Wow.
And also my mentor. We all need mentors, even though some people think they can just do it on their own. You can't.
I've never seen a dog try to train himself.
No.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. You need something. You need a map, a mentor. So my mentor was extremely high in the organization, the business, well known, and he decided one day that he was going to. This changed me too. This was prior to my success. I would say it was about maybe 6 months into it, and he said, because I was bringing a lot of people to the meetings. Not in, but I was certainly getting more people in there than anybody else in my particular organization that I was surrounded by. So he came to me, my mentor, and he stated that he was going to call me up, and I was going to speak in front of everybody, and we were, and that was very uncomfortable for me, being the shy, person that I was, low self-esteem. I don't remember how many people were in the room, but I would say at least 100. So
really?
It was as soon as he told me I was going to go up there and speak, which was maybe 10 minutes before I was supposed to speak, I felt slightly nauseous.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But then I decided that I was going to take that nervousness and create an energy about it. I was going to take that energy and use it. So when I got up there, I was energetic. I was, basically, acting as if I was the person I wanted to be. And my sponsor said after it was done, he said, there's people around me who were saying, "Who is that guy?"
Oh, really?
Who is he? So yeah, that was the beginning. So my mentor helped me get out of my shell as far as speaking, because some people feel that getting up in front of people in public speaking is worse than death. And to me at that time, I would say, yeah, that was probably hell on wheels. But I got up there and I was like, and the person I was going to get up there said, "You ready?" I said, "Not particularly." He said, just do it. So I just got up there and I just blew the house down by just taking that nervousness and talking louder, more confidence, with more reassurance, with a posture. And that was the beginning. And then I started to realize, hey, it's all up here. What happened in the past is the past. And what I think of myself isn't necessarily a true reflection of who I really am.
Nice. Well, I would say that I think your story is an inspiration to others, because there are a lot of people that do struggle within And whether they're trying to be a network marketer, whether they're trying to be an affiliate marketer, and they struggle with seeing success. They probably have the same experience of going out there and people are coming in, people are showing up, but no one's actually signing up or nobody's joining them. And you have been able to take yourself from a point where you were doing all the work until you got a 99% sign up rate for people that were actually coming in, almost a 99%, about a 99%. And you are, that's definitely an inspiration that although it may seem as though the work you're doing today is not, you're not seeing the benefits of it. However, you are still in the process of becoming someone better. And in order to become that someone better, it's necessary to go through that period of time. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't have become who I was after those 2 years, or who I am today, if it wasn't a result of going through what I went through. You know, when I sat down with my first or second person to interview, and they got up and walked away saying, they're not interested. It was a very, I was young. I felt like crying, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I said there have to change what I was doing. I was doing something wrong, because if that person wasn't interested, then it wasn't them, it was me. So I changed. Every time I changed something, until it became a perfect straight line to where I needed to be. Because every time you go out there and you try to be, and you do something that you want to do, be it business or otherwise, and you see something as a failure, no, it's not a failure. It's something that you learn from, and you do something different next time. You don't do the same thing. You might say something, and then you take that away, and you say something differently. Each time you're adding something, you're taking something away, until you're creating something that is as perfect as it could possibly be to get people, in my case, in my business.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think that failure is necessary to get to your point, but that is, I think that is what most people try to avoid. And it's the very thing that will get you to where you want to be. What would you say to someone that's going through that uncomfortableness where it almost made you cry, that uncomfortableness of someone just not, it kind of crushes you, right?
Yes.
It kind of crushes you. What would you say was something that helped you to get through that and keep pushing forward?
My something that either you have or you don't, and that's my desire. I had a burning desire to be successful. I was willing to do whatever it took, whatever it takes. I mean, I was willing to get in people's face, not aggressively, in order to get people to get involved with my business. If I see somebody, if I saw somebody, I don't do this now. I don't go out and find people for my business. I don't have time for that. But in that time period, yeah, I would be more aggressive. But I would start up a conversation. I wouldn't just talk about business. I got to the point where, talking about business was silly, because that's what I would do. I would go walk up to somebody, start talking about business. I mean, I found out real quick that
that's just not the way.
That doesn't work. So
they're going to run the other way.
Right. So if I saw somebody who looked like they were, they had their stuff together, they were successful in my mind, because I didn't really have a high expectations about myself at that point. But I would go up to somebody who I saw as, being quote unquote successful. And I would say, you know, that I'll talk about something maybe benign, like I would see that they're reading, you know, back in the days when we had bookstores. I assume we still do somewhere. But I would be like, yeah, that's a good book, by the way. You know, if they're reading something that I was familiar with, and then they'd ask me questions about it, and I'd be like, yeah, that's what that is. And I said, what do you do, by the way? And they would tell me I'm an Indian chief or whatever they are. I was like, interesting. Tell me about that, because everybody wants to know about themselves. Everybody wants to talk about themselves. Tell me about that. What does that involve? Oh, really? Wow. Because I said, I would say I work with people that are in your field. Oh, you're an Indian chief as well? No, I just happen to work with Indian chiefs. I'm actually expanding business and utilizing people in that field as a means of basically I'm trying to expand in a certain area with those people because they're working with me to expand networks in a certain area. But enough of that. And then they would be like, well, no, not enough of that. What do you mean? And then they would start asking questions. I would kind of keep it kind of to the point where I would not share a lot of information about it, but just enough that they would be asking more questions. They'll be like, yeah, you know, I have people in my field that are making about 6 figures a month. And they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, what was that? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, what would you want to know? And they were like, oh, well, I'm interested. Oh, okay, well, I don't have time to talk about it now, but give me your phone number and I'll call you. I said, it's a shot in the dark. If I have an opening, I'll call you, and maybe I'll set up an appointment to sit down with you. And that's how I did it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I don't know if I got off topic, but
it seems like you turned it from being the hunter to being the hunted.
Yeah, there's a method to the madness. Sales is psychology. I learned that very quickly.
Yeah.
You put yourself in a position where you can envision yourself sitting in an office in a leather chair, and when you're calling somebody, that you're the one that they need. You don't need them; they need you.
Yeah.
And you put yourself in a position that I am what you need. I don't need you. You need me. When you put yourself in that mindset, at least that's how I thought back then, it does change how things operate. The world tends to open up and change based off of what your beliefs are. If you truly believe without a shadow of a doubt that you're going to do it, no matter what, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, opens up doors to allow things to happen that would not have happened otherwise. You're showing through faith by doing when everything else is falling apart that you believe and you're not going to give up. And then, you know, it's given to you.
Right. Man, it's always just talking to you. It helps me to see things in a different perspective and to see things as an abundance of whatever our mind can achieve, then whatever our mind can conceive, then we can achieve that all with the power of our minds. But that's an awesome just letting us know about how to actually overcome that feeling of and just overcome that. Will turn the tables, going from being a non-confident person to being able to get out there and practice, and then going through the tough times, the failure, and then actually becoming a person that now, instead of going out and trying to hound people, now you're at the point where people are, you've come to the point where you know how to make people actually pretty much ask you and come to you and be interested in what you have to offer.
Yeah, there is no failure.
Mhm. And
That's
this was, and this was, you know, a lot of early days, but now we're going into probably a different era in our you know, in our lives, in our worlds, and there are a few things that really change you know, the dynamics and the way we live over time. Like one of those, the internet. You know, pre-internet, you might, we if it weren't for the internet, we might still be in malls. You know,
yeah, yeah.
it might still be the same way. And now we're going into a another era, and that's going to be in the virtual realm.
Yes.
And with the metaverse coming up, what do you think about just going into the metaverse and how things will change there? What are your thoughts?
Well, with the advent of the metaverse, and when you say metaverse, immediately people automatically assume you're talking about, you know, fake book.
Facebook,
And I'm not I'm not talking about fake book.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about metaverse. Metaverse is not meta. Meta
Okay.
is Facebook, but metaverse is completely different, because that's the way when I post on platforms and I talk about metaverse, people automatically assume I'm talking about Facebook. It's not Facebook. Metaverse is way beyond Facebook. There's multiple companies.
Right. I mentioned the world of virtual reality.
Yeah.
And it's a separate world with avatars. And yeah.
Absolutely. And with the advent of the metaverse, I believe it's going to be a completely different ecosystem where you will be able to work within this virtual reality world, have your businesses within, have property within, live your life within, to some degree or another, in greater degrees in the future. Mm-hmm. But I believe that it will be the future. It will be a different method to what we recognize right now as internet. It's a completely different world, and it's going to be where you will either be working for somebody within the metaverse. Mm-hmm. You'll be working for yourself. There'll be interchanging of exchange. You'll be able to earn within, and you'll be able to socialize within. I don't know if that's necessarily good or bad, but it is the future. I don't know if necessarily if Facebook's going to be the one who's going to place their flag on the top of the mountain and say we are the best one. I believe there is probably going to be others that are going to come forth. There's too much at present. There's too many people that tend to have a little bit of a negative feeling towards Facebook at the moment,
right?
Unless they drastically change, get hire better PR.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be the top.
I think they're going through a PR nightmare right now. Whoever's public relations is probably saying, and I see a lot of journalists going after Facebook, and it's like, and I think that, okay, when you're on top, it's hard to get on top, but it's even harder to stay on top.
Yes, because, and I mean, there are some people that are against Facebook because they're successful, or they're against certain individuals outside of Facebook because they're successful. You can't go against somebody because they're successful. Because how about yourself? Why why don't, if you don't like it, then go out and become successful yourself?
I think it's typically those people that are trying to gain off of Facebook's demise, possibly.
Right.
It's they want a piece of that, and they are going to, of course, they'd like to see Facebook not be as successful, because if they can get this is my opinion, and I think it's a battle of attention. It's a battle of attention, and Facebook has a lot of attention from people right now, and they've got other people battling to grab that attention away from Facebook.
I agree. And then again, Metaverse is so much bigger than them. So yeah, it's just basically just virtual reality, working within, having your own business within, being, socializing within, a completely different way of communication that will become the forefront of the future. You may not necessarily see it now, but it's going to be a big part of the future. Whether it's Facebook or not, it's going to be here, irrespective of what Facebook does.
Right. And well, let's ask about that metaverse. Do you think it is okay? Because let's say the internet itself right now, and what's the main purpose that we use the internet for? Because we use the internet for shopping, socializing, where we get our information from. Join in, ask, what we actually use the internet for. It's made things faster. It's made a lot of information accessible that was not as easily accessible before. With the metaverse, it takes that to a different experience. Do you think it's just the experience in the metaverse where we're actually able to interact with other people, physically interact with other people that are, so because like with the internet now, our interaction is really, just looking in a screen. But in the metaverse, or this virtual reality world, it brings the internet to a different experience. Would you say that's what the metaverse is about in this virtual reality?
Yes, I do. I do see that as such. And the internet right now, if you want to look up the Eiffel Tower, if you want to go somewhere and look it up, you look it up through Google. But in the metaverse, you can literally be there, and you can maybe walk around and be where you would not normally be able to be, where those that can't walk can walk. So it's going to really change a lot of people's lives for the positive. Also, you people that are, say are paralyzed and can't walk, they will experience the ability to be able to maneuver within the virtual reality as if they were not in a wheelchair. So that's going to change. There's a lot of good things towards it. I don't know. There's also some things that I see could be potentially bad, but it is the future, so we're eventually going to have to embrace it.
Right, and it's like the internet still probably shopping, socializing, entertainment. I think. Well, is it more of a? Is it a better? What do I want to? Is it a better meeting between the internet and real life? It's a better. What do I want to say? A better coming together of those two. A better combination of those two. It's bringing the internet and real life together for an experience that is almost like reality. Is it making the internet better, or is it making reality better? Did you see? So it's like
I would say that it's going to make things better in the sense that everybody will have their own opinion on it, because everything that I talk about here and now is merely an opinion. But I would say that instead of going to a website and making a purchase, you could literally go into a virtual store and be greeted by somebody there who's working within the metaverse, and you could try things on virtually, whether it be glasses, whether it be clothes that could be self-fitting based off of technology. And you'll be able to, instead of just buying off of a website, you'll be able to be there as if you were in a mall and look around and go from store to store. So I think from a business perspective, I think it's going to be quite unique. And I think it'll help with regards to customer service, where you can maybe even now be able to communicate one-on-one as opposed to necessarily, getting on the phone. So I think that is a positive step, in my opinion.
Right. So do you have any plans to go into the metaverse? Or are you in the metaverse?
Yeah, I'm in the metaverse. There's different ones out there these days. I'm actually, people can go to my Facebook page or they can reach out to me. I have a link where they can get, if they don't already have it, they can get Oculus glasses and get I think a $30 or $60 store credit that they can use for whatever they want. But yeah, I don't know, what was the question?
No, are you in the metaverse?
Am I in the metaverse? Yeah. Not at the moment, but yeah. But as far as the metaverse is concerned, I mean, you and me speaking on Zoom, that is really a part of the metaverse. The metaverse has been in the making for many years prior to now. I mean, any interaction from one media to another is, in essence, the metaverse. But am I in the metaverse? Am I involved with the metaverse? Yeah, I within Oculus. There's something called multiverse,
okay,
and which is it's still metaverse, but it's multiverse is what they call themselves. And you're able to walk around and you're able to communicate with people and buy condos, whether or not that's going to be a tangible asset in the future, potentially, because anything within the metaverse, whether it be condos or whatever, are NFTs, which you can end up selling for a profit. So I am involved with the metaverse and in greater regard. It's more so probably in this first quarter, probably in March, I will see. Probably I'm going to get probably more involved, where I'd be, seeing more of a profitable, type of reward from it. But yeah, I am involved.
Oh, okay. So, like the internet is pretty much infinitely expandable. It's infinitely expandable. This virtual reality, this metaverse, how will people decide what places to go, or where would they travel? What are the boundaries of this metaverse? So just say, for example, is there only one Eiffel Tower? Is there only one place where you can visit a representation of the Eiffel Tower? Or can someone in the metaverse develop another location that's a complete replica of the Eiffel Tower and have people go there? What do you know? What type of how are boundaries established there? And is it like, okay, we have the world, and that when you're in Canada, you're in Canada, and and there's only a limited amount of space within that Canada region. So you can go there and then you can actually be in that space. But in a virtual reality world, it would seem as you could have two Canadas. You could have 2, 3, 4 Canadas. And how do you know how that's being managed?
I mean, I believe it's going to be interconnected. I believe there's going to be multiple metaverses, if you will, different worlds interconnected. So eventually it'll just be one world. There'll be others where you can interconnect and move to, sort of like the internet. The internet is interconnected with different sites. It'll be the same thing, I believe, with regards to the metaverse, where it'll be different worlds, different virtual reality landscapes interconnected. So I guess there could be multiple Canadas, if you will. There could be multiple. I mean, you could certainly duplicate different areas. You can't. I mean, it's going to be some metaverses may want to try to keep things limited. Maybe that will help bring people into certain areas because of fear of loss and the scarcity of it all. But in the end, I believe that the metaverse is going to be interconnected like the internet is, and it's going to be a wide net.
Okay, so if I wanted to, let's just say, for instance, I wanted to go to McDonald's, would there only be one McDonald's in the entire metaverse that everyone goes to, or do they establish multiple McDonald's, multiple McDonald's that I can go to based on a region? So let's say I'm in the metaverse and I'm at this nightclub, and after the nightclub is over, we leave and, hey, let's go to McDonald's. Do we just zoom and then fly to the McDonald's in Paris?
Well, I mean, again, the metaverse is going to be global. So you'll be able to talk to with people from all over the world. Will there be one McDonald's? There'll be multiple. There's one McDonald's like it is now. You go down the street every 5 blocks, there's a McDonald's. So I mean, depending upon who the owner is of said McDonald's within the metaverse, will potentially have the same opportunity as they would here to have their McDonald's in a certain region of the metaverse, depending upon the metaverse that's being set up, because there's going to be multiple metaverses. So, it's really defined by the developers. The developers are the ones that are going to be, in the end, creating this. I'm merely speculating at this point based off of what I've heard and what I've read. But I believe that there's going to be multiple McDonald's. So rest easy, Mark. You're going to have plenty of McDonald's after clubbing virtually.
Oh yeah. We've got to hang out in the metaverse.
I believe you're right. And also, talking about Facebook. Facebook, they recently, I believe it was recently, they came out with a glove. So when you're in their virtual world, which really it's in beta right now, they're not really allowing a lot of people in it. I think it's invitation only at this point, from what I know. But there's gonna be glove that you wear. So when you touch something or pick up a glass, you're literally feeling as if you're picking it up. So you think about it from that point of view. Now, what I think about is, what does that mean for the future? If you could pick something up and feel it, what's going to not stop somebody from introducing another layer where you can feel pain? And then we go into a completely different realm of reality, which is completely outside what we're talking about. But I always I'm thinking outside the box here. Who's to say that we're not already living in a virtual reality? And advanced as we will be, who's to say that we are not already a part of that advanced technology and are currently within a virtual reality and we just don't know it because they've mastered it. They've come to the point where a virtual reality is indistinguishable between virtual and reality as we know it. And if you ask scientists, you can look this up. You know, I'm certainly I'm not a scientist, but I've watched scientists and review documentation, and they indicate that the probability of us living in a virtual reality is greater than us not. Think about that.
That could be the topic of an entire. That could be the topic of an entire. We could talk about that for a long time. Because I
find that fascinating.
What'd you say? That would open up a completely complete topic, because we see the world from our senses. We see and experience outside of us through our eyes, our touch, our hearing. And I've heard people say that, do we really know what's out here?
Yeah, I mean, who's giving us the information?
Right.
I mean, we are electricity, so who's giving us that power? Where's that power coming from? I mean, it's very, very interesting. Yeah. I mean, do I think that we're living a virtual reality? I mean, who knows?
Right.
I mean, but the scientists, some scientists, mathematically speaking, there was a mathematician who I believe he was on Joe Rogan's show. They hate Joe Rogan these days because he dares to have an opinion.
But you can't have that.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan was pushed against it because I guess he doesn't like the fact that it could be a virtual reality. But the mathematician said that, say there are multiple layers of infinite universes over time, mathematically speaking, are we in the beginning phase of creating the virtual reality, or are we at the end of that technology? And he says, mathematically speaking, we're more inclined to be in virtual reality than we are not. So for those that are interested in looking up that, they can look it up on their own. But it's fascinating to think that we could be potentially already living within a virtual reality, which is certainly outside the topic of today, but I always like to throw something out there.
I love it. It's definitely a possibility. And I'm not a scientist. I haven't taken the time to research it thoroughly, but I'm pretty sure there are others who are doing it. And I think there could be some validity to it. I think and that's my thought.
And for those that are afraid, oh no. Well, virtual reality, if that's the case, then it could be programmed that we live forever. So really, maybe you may think about it. I mean, maybe after this reality as we know it, there's another reality on top of another reality that's infinite realities. So,
that there is a theory that says that energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
Right, and I had said that before on one of your other podcasts.
I sure did. I do remember.
Yes, and if energy can neither, I think it was Einstein, who said that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So one thing, aside from this topic of us living in a virtual reality, which I don't have any particular opinion on it one way or the other because I don't know. But as far as us being energy, if energy cannot be created, we've always been. If energy cannot be destroyed, we shall always be. So think about it from a mathematical, scientific perspective. We are energy. It can't be created. We've always been. And if it can't be destroyed, and we are energy, we will always be.
Exactly.
Anything that should create peace within those watching, that this is not it. You live forever, and you've always been forever. You've always been here.
Right. And you brought up the point that if maybe we go on to another virtual reality world, but we could, like, that's a topic. And
there's so many. It's very, very, very deep, and I tend to think deep. But yeah, I believe that for me personally, I believe there's something else. I mean, I'm looking at, if we are energy, I mean, just think about it logically. If we're energy, then where's that energy go? I mean, does it go or is it on a conscious plane? Who knows? But we're energy, so it has to go somewhere. It can't be destroyed. So we always go forward. We always exist, not necessarily in this form, but we always will be. And then there's, because I like talking about all kinds of topics. As you know, I'm really into all kinds of
I love it. I love it.
And if you're afraid of death, as most people are, and when I say you, I mean the audience, if you're afraid of death, then I think of it this way. I think it was it Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller? He stated something very interesting many years ago. He said, well, I believe it was him that said this. He indicated that he said, well, because he's an atheist. I'm not. I do believe that there's something else. But if you are afraid of death, then I asked the person, were you afraid? I'll ask you, Mark, when in 1650, the year 1650, were you afraid?
No.
And will you be afraid in the year 3000?
No.
So there's nothing to be worried about.
Okay.
Think about it. If you were not afraid of 1650, and if you weren't afraid of 1650, then you're not going to be afraid of the year 3000. It is going to be the same. There's nothing to worry about.
Okay.
You managed to be okay in the year 1650.
Oh, okay.
So you'll be okay in the year 3000. And that was something that I think Penn Jillette had brought up. I was like, that's an interesting way to think about it. Because if you're afraid of death, well, were you afraid of the year 1650? No? Well, okay, because you don't remember anything. There's nothing to worry about. But that'll be the same as it will be for us in the year 3000.
Okay. No, I don't remember anything from the year 1650.
Exactly, neither do I. So it'll be the same thing. There's nothing to worry about. But just different ways of thinking about things.
Yeah.
Talking to me, we're going to go all in multiple different directions.
Yes. So we're going to wrap it up here. And before we wrap it up, I just want to get your last final thoughts about opportunity, the opportunity that you think there will be in the metaverse, and then sign us off with your final words, and let everyone know if they want to reach you and what you have going on right now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, as far as the opportunities within Metaverse, there's going to be plenty of opportunities, just as there was when the internet started. So, if you want to get more information on it, just do your own research. Do your own homework, your own due diligence. If the Metaverse is going to be the future, and I believe it will be, you might as well look into seeing how you can be a part of that. Do you want to work for somebody within the Metaverse, or do you want to be the one that people work for you? You want to have your own business within the metaverse? These are things that you can think about. There's opportunities all over the place. There's opportunities all around us. You just have to seize the day. And as far as reaching out to me or finding out what I'm up to, you can just go to rocketmanmarketer.com.
All right. Yes. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. It's never a dull moment, never a silence, a moment of silence when speaking with Greg Demario. But remember, rocketmanmarketer.com, or just reach out to Greg. You'll find him on, his Facebook. And thanks so much for watching today. So we'll see you next time.